Minutes of Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackie and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
Well, I mean, there were several different situations there at the end. I mean, we just were looking for the best shot with 16 seconds on. We just wanted to kind of get into something quickly, turn the corner, see what broke loose. Yeah, I mean, again, we got a great look by one of our best shooters. So.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Phil, are you okay today?
Hey, but coming up next, we'll tell you how Chris Finch styles his hair. Is it mousse? Is it gel? How does it stay in place for 4 quarters?
And later, you can buy the Chris Finch glasses line because he's selling them now at a pop-up shop in the Target Center court area. That's upcoming.
All right, Mackie and Judd, daily Minnesota sports loathing.
Oh, no, we have found a way to avoid the negative. That's what we found a way to do. All you have to do.
Josh Okogie may be clanking jumpers again, but look at his socks.
And then you might have thought Jose Barrios was good, but wait till you see the crop of kids that was born yesterday who are left-handed. Babies coming up to the Twins in only 20 years.
Oh, God. Oh, okay. Explain to me, please, Karl-Anthony Towns. So let's unpack this. So Wolves lose last night. That was a mostly full-strength Suns team. Chris Paul, Devin Booker. I mean, they're playing a back-to-back, and you're playing at home. So definitely not like full-strength Suns team. But you've got this team kind of on the ropes. So Cat scores 16 points in the first, 9 minutes of the fourth quarter. He cashes a 3 from the top of the key to put the Wolves up by 5 points with 3.5 minutes to go. The arena is bumping. Cat's thumping his chest. Let's go, right? Yes, you finally figured out. You have finally cracked the code of these late game meltdowns. And then I think they come out of a timeout. I'm pretty sure the Suns called timeout. They come out of the timeout, and D'Lo says, my time. It's my time now. I know that Cat has 35 points on 17 shots or whatever it is, and we're just on a roll here. But D'Lo said, no. Come out of this timeout. I'm the finisher. It's hero ball time. From the 3:40 mark going forward, as the Wolves have a 5-point lead, while the Suns matriculate and get every shot that they want, they know exactly who they are. D'Lo shoots the ball 7 times in the last 3.5 minutes. He clanks all but 2 of those shots. He went 1 for 10 from 3-point range last night. Cat, meanwhile, was 5 of 9. And yet D'Lo comes barreling in and thinks, I'm going to play hero ball and ice this game down the stretch with a bunch of 25-foot jump shots. Please, can someone explain that to me?
What makes it worse, too, is that in the final quarter on his 26th birthday, Karl-Anthony Towns was 3 for 3 from 3-point range. So he was not just having a good game. He was having an incredible quarter that screamed, finish the game, Karl, finish the game. And D'Lo's like, oh, you don't understand. I can't explain it. I only hope one thing. I hope that soundbite that Declan just played from Chris Finch postgame, in which he was asked, I think by John Krasinski, about, John asked in the nicest way possible,
what the hell are you doing?
How does that happen? How does D'Lo get that shot? And I only hope that what Chris Finch said publicly was an effort to keep the peace, but that privately they said, D'Lo, come here. What are you doing? Now,
but coming up next, we'll tell you how D'Lo built up so many Instagram followers. D-loading on Valley Sports North.
Ice in the veins.
Oh God. Okay. So can I propose this though, Phil? And you are far more of a basketball guy than me. So here's what I'd like to ask though. If you go back and watch that play,
which play are you talking about?
In which D'Lo took the shot with, I believe it was 5.6 seconds left.
The 3-point shot.
It's the 3-point shot.
I actually didn't mind that shot. It was an open shot.
Right, but it's 98-96. He takes a 3-point shot, which could have been and really was their last trip down the floor. Beasley took a long shot at the end, but that was just a desperation heave. Here's my question about Finch, though, and the play itself, though. So it's one thing that you liked the look. I get that. But if you go back and watch it, it's basically Ant D'Lo shot. Karl is off to the sort of in the corner, leaking out a little bit. But it didn't look like there was any design that even really involved him.
Yep.
So explain what you saw there, because that's where I guess I'm confused. Like, if that was the best shot available, I sort of get it more.
Yep. I actually, of all the shots and all the hero ball and ball hogging that was happening there, I actually didn't mind that one. It was a wide open look from three for a good percentage 3-point shooter.
Yep.
And he clanked it. And then, by the way, if I remember right, Ant got the offensive rebound.
He did and lost it.
And then he tried to take a step back, and people are on him because people are like, "Oh, did he forget the score?" Like, because he tried to step back and he lost the ball. I don't know if he forgot the score, but I'm also okay not going to overtime with Chris Paul and Devin Booker.
I think they were trying to win the game.
So if you can hit a 3-pointer in that spot, I'm fine with that. I think they should have been drawing up 3-pointers in that situation, and you don't want to extend the game against that team, because that team, watching that. I'll get back to your question in a second, but the biggest, most glaring difference last night, and that Suns team played. They were up 2-0 in the NBA Finals. Like, they went to Game 6 of the NBA Finals. They know exactly who they are late in games. Now, Milwaukee with Drew Holiday and Giannis and just the great defensive pressure they put on, they unlocked something halfway through the NBA Finals. But, in almost every other situation, every other regular season game, every other series, they know exactly who they are inside 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. It's Chris Paul from the elbow. It's Devin Booker from 15 to 18 back to 25 feet, and then DeAndre Ayton inside when things break down. Like, they know the 3 different shots that they want to take. They know the 3 different guys in the pecking order that are going to get the ball, and you can't really stop it. Teams know what they're going to do, and they're so honed. The Timberwolves, and it's kind of understandable, like, it's been, it's new coaches, it's new players playing together, and Ant's like 20 years old. The Wolves have no idea who they are inside 5 minutes. They don't have any go-to structure, and that kind of brings me back to your question, which is why aren't they finding Cat more in these situations? Well, in the half court, it's harder for Cat to just like create his own shot. Like, he's not the back to the basket, automatic bucket Tim Duncan guy. It is better generally in those situations when the ball kind of cycles. Maybe Cat starts, he throws a pass off a double, and then the spin cycle starts, and he winds up with an open shot or something. What I would love to see, and I have never coached basketball, I'm just a huge stan who keeps going back to the Wolves ticket window and getting my emotions toyed with. I would love to see things start with Ant, because Ant is so great at getting to the basket and breaking things down. And he's become, at least with the eye test, a better decision maker. He's not perfect and flawless yet, but he's able to get to the hoop, maybe get fouled, so maybe he gets a couple free throws, but he draws defenders in, and he can either convert at the rim, maybe there's an and one in there, but the most likely scenario is he gets the ball to start the possession, he drives in, defense gets sucked in, and now it's spin cycle time. Now you got Towns out on the wing, you got D'Lo out on the other wing, you got Beasley in the corner. It seems like they're deferring too much to D'Lo starting some of these possessions. And he's also pretty good at getting to the rim, but he's so prone to just pulling up with a hand in his face or pulling up from like 25 or 26 feet. So I think reordering the pecking order in the fourth quarter, instead of D'Lo being number 1, which is what happened in the last 4 minutes, how about Ant is number 1, and D'Lo and Cat are sort of secondary shooting options that also could, get the ball off a pass and drive in. It just feels backwards. And last night it felt like they were just sort of desperately trying to find whatever was going to work. They went away from Cat. Ant had a couple opportunities, but it just felt awkward, and it doesn't feel like D'Lo should be leading and driving in those last 3 or 4 minutes.
Well, and with the way that Cat was playing in that last quarter, I guess I don't get, because we are told that our guy Finchie is an offensive guru and genius. I don't understand how you have a guy who's had that good of game and basically, and I don't know if this is on Finch. I don't know if it's on D'Lo partially, or hell, for all I know, it might be on Cat partially. But I don't know how on that particular possession, which is going to be absolutely key, you end up having Cat basically be a non-entity in the play itself. Because I believe the pass went Ant, D'Lo, shot, and Cat is basically by Ant at that point in time, and he was covered, but he also was in for lack of a better term, no man's land. And that's what I didn't get. Because, I mean, this guy in that quarter, he was fantastic. Like, I was surprised Finch did such a good job of like saying, well, I mean, we just tried to. He didn't have disappointment.
But look over here, the Iowa Wolves with another great performance.
Leandro Bolmaro.
In the G League. Leandro Bolmaro. Multi-talented young player.
Coming up next, the Wolves draw up plays and they allow everyone to be included. And then later on, we talk about Jaden McDaniels, why getting 3 fouls immediately means he is aggressive. Man. But anyway, so yeah, that was the one thing that confused me, but that was a fun game to watch.
It was a
fun game to watch.
I think one thing is if they had won a few of the games like the Pelicans, I think the Pelicans have 1 win still this season against the Timberwolves. Or if they had won, what was the Clippers game? They were up by like 20 points in the first Clippers game.
Orlando here.
Orlando.
That was bad.
Because
you're okay to win that game.
If they had come in, and what's their record today? It's 4-9. So they were 4-8 going into last night. Let's say they were 7-5. Because they beat Orlando, the Pelicans, and they hang on to a 20-point lead against the Clippers. If they're 7-5 and they're playing one of the best teams in the NBA, and you just like lose a heartbreaker, okay, like things to learn. But instead of it feeling that way, it feels like, it's the same patterns repeating themselves, whether you're playing the Suns at home or the Pelicans or the Magic. Like they just keep making the same mistakes. The other thing that really bothered me, and some people misconstrued this as passion, when the referees made a couple weird calls that went against the Timberwolves.
Yeah,
and then what happens is instead of just dealing with it and responding with buckets and defense, they start to get demonstrative and emotional. And Karl-Anthony Towns just literally starts having a temper tantrum on the court last night. And the crowd was chanting like "screw you refs" or something, or BS, refs you suck. And Towns is doing the KG thing on the score table, like
to get louder, which is just stupid.
It's like, dude, you already got a technical. You're probably gonna get tossed if you well, he didn't, thankfully, but like people see that and they're like, yeah, it's emotion. It's like but it's not like Kobe emotion. It's petulance.
Yeah, it's not channeled. It's not channeled.
He had to be pulled from the game because he was like out of his mind.
So Ant got called. He didn't get a call, and he is very fortunate not to get kicked out. He bumped the ref. It was sort of by accident, but sort of not. And he got a T. And it was shortly after that they didn't get another call, and Cat got the T. And Cat's imploring the crowd as they're chanting, "Ref, you suck," ref, to get louder. Number one is, you think you're going to get a ton of calls after that act. Yeah. The other thing was, though, and this is the interesting thing about being at games. Watch Chris Finch never changed. Like, he knew that Cat was so far gone that if he got mad, it was going to accelerate it. Mm-hmm. And so, because I mean, that should be the coach's job. Like, Cat should remain as calm as possible. It's fine to be mad, but just try to stay calm. And if a person has to get teed up, it should be Chris Finch. Chris Finch had to remain purposefully non-emotional because Cat was so mad. And then the guy to watch at games that I love, like totally for the most part, because he can go nuts at times, but Patrick Beverley.
He's so fun.
But he goes
That was the first game against Chris Paul since the suspension, I think.
And they were fine. It was really weird.
Patting each other on the butt. Like, they probably talked in the offseason.
Yes. Yeah. But Beverly goes over during the next timeout after that entire sequence to the official, and as play begins, is talking to him, but just quietly and like politicking. And I think he was basically trying to calm things down. And most importantly, like, Cat had put on such a display that hurts his team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, dude, but then I think he did channel the emotion for the rest of the
Yes.
game. I mean, to his credit, he came back out, he played with fire and passion, and you want to see that. I think it's so hard because I want to be able to watch that game and the end of that game and feel like, oh man, they almost had the Suns. Look at this team turning a corner, man. They almost had it. But it's like I can't ignore all the other meltdowns earlier this season. I can't ignore the fact that they just laid down and quit in the first half against the Clippers off a back-to-back where they beat the Lakers the night before. You know, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess just to back up a step, I mean, should we be viewing this game in a different way? Like, because in an alternate universe, if you can ignore 17 years of the same Wolves game and season playing out time and time again, right, outside of the Jimmy Butler fun run,
yeah.
if you can just ignore all of that history, if you can ignore the first, the meltdowns early this season, they played one of the best teams in the NBA. Super tough last night. They played really good defense. Cat had an outstanding game. Anthony Edwards had a miserable shooting night, but he was
He had a
so
good game
active.
all
He's
around.
rebounding and he's passing.
He
And
had 12 boards, I think.
yeah, like he finds other ways to impact the game, and then he
Yes.
knocks down a couple big shots. And,
Yep.
I guess, is there a more sort of optimistic or positive way that we should be looking at this game? Or is it like, God, you guys keep making the same mistakes and D'Lo keeps playing hero ball?
Yeah,
dude,
that's
you're Diet Kobe.
problem.
Diet Kobe. You're not
Yeah.
you shouldn't be playing hero ball. Get your teammates involved.
If they actually at the end there make shots or take shots with players that make the most sense, I think our discussion about this game this morning is completely different. So I think our problem, rightfully so, is what you're saying, Phil, which is D'Angelo Russell's need to take control of a situation that he shouldn't. That's the problem. So if they lose a close game and Cat takes that shot, or you know what, hell, Ant does, because he's Ant, who I also like more.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are. I think the Wolves fans are disappointed, but it's like, okay, but D'Lo just sort of I find him and Beasley well last night for the most part, but
Yeah, he was
I find them to be anchors. They just bring things down. And like Cat was trying to lift this team up. Ant didn't have a great scoring night, but like when you watch him, he does a lot of things to like lift the team up.
Also, he was excellent defensively last night.
Yes.
It doesn't show up on the box score as much because
Right.
like you can't quantify it with a shooting percentage. But
Ant was
like
Ant
he was
did a lot.
so dialed in defensively last night.
But I think our problem is the fact that D'Lo was the guy who decided, okay, it's my time now, and we're like, oh, hold on a second, this is not how it's supposed to work, D'Lo. But he's not going to get that.
But Jake Lehman doing a lot for charity throughout the community. Find out next on Valley Sports.
Coming up next on Valley Sports North, Naz Reid stood in front of me the entire time, so I couldn't see the game, but he's passionate about basketball. I'll show you the back of Naz's head.
Were you at the game last night?
Yeah.
Was
Oh,
Naz just standing there in his street clothes?
Nas, like, yes, he well,
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Could you
now
sit down?
They now stand in front, there's seats like on a bench in front of the press table, which is in the corner.
Yeah.
And so, I don't blame guys. They get excited, they stand up, right? But they're mammoth human beings. They're basketball players. They're 6'8". So if a 6'8" man stands up, none of us can see. And so at least the scoreboard's nice.
So I don't know, man. It's I wish that they had gone into that game 7-5 so that you could feel like, this team. I will say they are a game and a half out of the 10 seed right now for the
Look out.
Fired up.
game and a half out of the 10
Fire it
seed.
up.
Wave the flag. Wave the flag. Wait, hold
Where's
on.
the flag?
Hold
Where's the
on.
flag?
Sorry, I got the wrong music for that. Okay, they're a game and a half out of the 10 seed. Wave the flag.
Hold on. We got it.
Yes. The neighbors are like,
Sorry,
oh my
Stella.
God, there's a dog dying in that house right now.
Stella's like, what
crazy.
the hell?
Yeah, what the
going on?
hell
And
is
you're
Dad
off?
doing today?
Yeah, I'm here on the couch trying to get some sleep, and the old man's making a racket.
Shout out, to our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company for protecting companies Risk management, helping business owners sleep better at night. That's what they specialize in, maximizing the success of your business. You can find out about all the different tools, resources, and people that Federated brings to the table at federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours.